What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down some big news that just came out for Tesla. We're seeing a lot of these bulls having higher price targets than before, and what's happening with the share price, at least for us moving forward. But before I break down devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a few things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. Anyways, for Tesla, we're holding up quite decently so far. We saw this very, very nice looking push to 248, only for Tesla to kind of reject a bit. We're now kind of shuffling around this 242 zone. This is actually very close to our 5 minute 20 EMA. If we lose this, I'll be looking for this previous resistance becoming support at this 240 area as our next target if we do end up rejecting. So I'll be watching Tesla right here, and I do think there's a chance we could dip a little bit to kind of test that. But overall, it's still holding up very, very well. We're still up 5% for the day. We're up 10% yesterday. So keep in mind, Tesla's up pretty big anyways. So we're in a very, very good place, and there is even more upside potential later on. Now, I want to talk about some news that came out. So the Tesla bull has increased their price target after the positive Q2 delivery reports, not to mention the strong energy storage data and also very bullish looking catalysts. So basically, Dan Ives has come out and he's raising his price target from $275 to $300 a share after a positive Q2 2024 delivery report. And he also has a bull case of about $400 by 2025. Once again, by next year, it sees Tesla going to $400, which I think is very, very probable. I think Tesla has the potential to do so. So also, he has an outperform rating for Tesla. That's some great news. And he mentioned, and I quote, that we believe the demand story has made a significant turn for the positive heading into the 2H of 2025. So that 2H is the second half. And basically saying that the AI story could be worth over $1 trillion. And the most undervalued AI name in their view right now is Tesla. So this is actually related to what I was saying earlier about how when you look at stocks like Nvda, they had their AI runs. If you look at many others out there like Amazon, they ran based off AI news. Same thing with Apple. But where was Tesla's AI run? It hasn't started yet. And I think we're just getting started. So I think there's going to be a lot more upside as we approach the very, very big event in August, but you guys can see how interest is now returning to Tesla, and simultaneously, we're going to see a lot more upside potential thanks to this. So I think Dan Ives brought up a very, very good point. I do agree with his price target. I think we're going to likely see some very, very nice upside as well. And then Ives also mentioned something important. That's the fact that demand in China is rebounding. That's why we had a very, very positive report. And then also the last week of June was very strong, one of their best weeks ever. So demand in China is returning. We're seeing a lot of growth, and Tesla's absolutely crushing it, at least thus far. That is great news. And he's also mentioning that as people have seen, the EV adoption rate globally is under pressure thanks to a lot of different factors. However, going back to hybrid straight up is not necessarily a reason or like a very, very practical strategy in his opinion. That's the reason why it's very important to remember that we have to see some nice growth. And despite these challenges, Tesla is going to be completely fine when you look at the more longer terms. That's what Elon Musk was also talking about. So that is something else that I personally agree with. So right here, I'm going to go over this first. Once again, Dan Ives tweeted he's raising his price target from 275 to 300 with a new bull case of $400. Very, very bullish news. And we also have more news right here. There's been a lot of talk about Tesla's sales are declining, this and that. Yes, we didn't break the all-time high record, but there is actually growth compared to the previous quarter. So if anything, the sales are increasing. And if anything, I think they're going to continue to increase as time goes on once Tesla expands to different areas and they have new gigafactories. So I'm still very, very bullish and excited for what the future holds. Now, let me just note when it comes to data that just came out, we had the ISM data. Business activity was below expectations, showing some contraction. Same thing with employment. The employment sector is showing a little bit of contraction too. But new orders, new prices are still in a decent place. Prices dropping is a sign that this is positive for inflation. It's going to be like disinflationary, which is a good piece of news. But new orders slowing down is showing signs that services are slowing down. We'll have to see how this affects GDP. If slowdowns are too high, this could be very negative and put us closer to a recession. That's the most important thing about this data. So this is actually showing a weakness in the economy, despite the fact that prices are going down. That's what this is essentially suggesting. Now, moving forward, we also have the FOMC minutes at 2 o'clock p.m. for today. So it's another big piece of data. We will see how that affects us. But now I just want to focus on the charts. So as far as Tesla goes, I just wanted to mention to everyone that Tesla has been doing a pretty decent job at trying to hold up. We have this resistance around this, around this 244 area. We have support at 242, very, very close to where our 20 EMA happens to be. And if we lose this, we'll be tipping all the way back down towards this 240 area. So I'll be watching that very, very closely. So make sure you watch that. It's a very, very important area of interest. It's our 50 EMA on the 5-minute time frame, not to mention the previous resistance becoming support at this 240 area for Tesla. So it is possible we dip just a little bit. It is still possible, but that's going to be completely fine because Tesla's still holding up well. And we're still, once again, up 5%. So even if we do dip a bit, Tesla's going to be completely fine. And when you zoom out all the way, you can see that Tesla's still in a very, very good place, at least technically speaking. We're still very bullish. So if you look at the chart like this, the inverse head and shoulders prevails, and we're still looking very bullish overall. And there is still more upside potential for Tesla. So I just want to call that out. And then also for resistance levels, just to double check, make sure you watch 244. If that breaks, we could be getting very close to about 245, then 248. Just remember those levels, and then 250. But like I said before, we could dip a bit first before we try to bounce and then see some consolidation in this range. Now, SPY has been trying to break out, but I just want to note that I would be kind of careful. I'm going to be patient with this because SPY's at 550. We did call out 550 yesterday, but watch and see how we end up reacting to this resistance. We did reject off this zone 2 times in the past. So if we reject again, SPY is going to be making a move back down to a much lower level. If we manage to break past 550, we close above that or continue to hold. I'll be looking at 552 as the next resistance in 555. But for now, I'm going to be patient and wait and see if we get some kind of rejection or not. Like the last times we hit this, we did reject. So we will wait and see. As of right now, SPY is building some strength. So I'm going to wait and see, watch resistance at 515, see if we could hold this or if we reject. I'm going to be very patient nonetheless. For Nvda, we've gotten a breakout right here on Nvidia. This is part of why the market's actually holding up as well as it is. We're trying to break out of this channel right here. So I want to see if Nvidia can make its way back up to about 127. We're currently shuffling in the 125s. 127 will be the next resistance. If you reject, I'll be looking for basically 122.8. Overall, Nvidia has more upside potential. It's holding up quite well. So we'll just have to see how things kind of progress from here. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin's kind of rejecting a bit, but we're shuffling at this 60,000 area. We haven't officially lost key support. If we lose this, we'll be looking for 58,000. If we bounce off this, we could be making our way back up to 62,000. So make sure you watch that support. For other tickers like the QQQ, we did break all-time highs. We had the cup and handle. I was ready to dip first and then try to bounce. Instead, we didn't get much of a dip. We actually just continued to push. Even despite the negative, data, we're still holding up very well. So this looks bullish. I'll be looking at this 490 resistance just to see how we kind of react right here. We'll see if we break that or not. And if that breaks, look for 492. Those are going to be your two levels. But 490 especially is going to be very important. Watch 488 as key support. If we lose that, we're going back down to 486 and 484. So I'll be very patient. As of right now, we're looking more bullish. Apple's also looking more bullish, breaking past 220 exactly as you predicted. Not bad whatsoever. If we hold above 220.5, 222 is our next target. Apple is looking quite good. Supermicro is still testing this 840 area as resistance. That's where our EMAs happen to be. I'm going to be very patient with this and give this some time just for a few more. Coinbase is showing some weakness, kind of rejecting off this support. We're going to be looking for a test of 220. We'll see if we bounce off that or not, but it's looking kind of weak. Amazon pushed up to 200 only to reject a bit, so watch 197.5. If that fails, watch 196 and then lower levels. I do think it could dip a little bit to 196, and we'll see if it bounces or not, but there's a little bit of weakness on Amazon. Meta is going to be testing 508. If we lose this, we're going down to 505. And resistance at 510, so we'll just have to see how this ends up reacting, at least for now, moving forward. And we also have Microsoft. Microsoft went all the way up to about this 460 resistance. Now it's kind of shuffling here, so we'll see if you reject or not. If you reject, we could be retracing to 454. Otherwise, we're just going to shuffle at 460, so give that some time. And then Google is just shuffling as well at 186. We will see if this rejects or not, but this is going to be some tough resistance. The 4 hour is looking a little bit more bullish, so it has potential to go up to 188 if we hold above 186. But it's just kind of choppy right now, so I'm going to give it some time. GameStop tested resistance at each of these EMAs. As you can see, now we're testing 24.08 as resistance. We'll have to see how that reacts. If that breaks, we're going back up to 24.8. Otherwise, we're shuffling. And then AMC is kind of dipping a bit. We could be looking for 4.97 to be tested. So we'll just have to see how things go from here. But with that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Tesla's retesting 244, but like I said, be a little bit careful with it. We pumped very, very nicely, and the chart is very bullish overall. But I'm going to be watching these very, very key levels just to see how it ends up reacting. We might just trade around them and kind of shuffle a bit. So watch 244 as resistance and 245 and then 248. And watch our support at 242. If we reject here and we end up losing 242, look at 240. We could actually retest previous previous resistance becoming support. So I see a risk of Tesla kind of like shuffling a little bit, maybe even dipping a little bit more. But with that being said, it doesn't really matter. It's still bullish overall despite that. So we'll see how things go. Anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great day. I'm very happy to hear about these Tesla bullish targets, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys very soon in just a few hours. Don't forget the stock market's going to close early today at 1 p.m. in commemorance of the 4th of July. So we'll see if things get a big reaction by then, and be very, very patient. So we will see how things develop. Okay, so market closes early at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see how things go from here. Thank you, and peace out.